Naruto Uzumaki is one of the most well-known anime characters in history, likely only being beaten in renown by the popular monster Goku from Dragon Ball or Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. Naruto's vast popularity and fame has obviously given rise to many people asking questions like, who could beat Naruto in a fight? And that's what we are going to go over today. Hello Internet, Jojo here, and today we're going to list off 5 characters who could beat Naruto, and 5 characters who don't stand a chance. Now, if this seems like a CBR article, don't worry, while that was inspiration, I do actually know what I'm talking about. Mostly. At least, I know better than to say that Arlong would beat Sasuke. Anyways, let's start off with the first character who could beat Naruto. Number 1. Toriko can beat Naruto. While not nearly as famous as many other characters on this list, Toriko is more than capable of taking down Naruto. With physical power surpassing characters who can stop the implosion of the planet Earth, stated to be comparable to a huge star going supernova, and speed surpassing that of the ultimate food god and the Monkey King, both of which can casually dodge close-range light-speed attacks, Toriko is a very fast, very powerful fighter. In a fight between the two, Naruto would find himself simply outclassed in both speed and power, leaving him having to rely on his variety of chakra weapons and his hand-to-hand skills to take the win. But that would not be enough, as Toriko matches him in skill as well. Having been trained since childhood in hand-to-hand combat, and having developed his own martial arts style, Toriko is very well equipped to take out even the most heavily armored opponents. With his Kugi Punch, he can deal damage to the inside of his opponents many times over. With his mastery of monkey martial arts, he gains control over his very cells, allowing him to ignore the effects of supergravity, giving him an ultra instinct-like ability to dodge, and even the ability to reattach limbs without much medical aid. He can just pop an arm back on. With a sense of smell that can rival a Guinness wolf, he can tell everything about a person from their age to their very genetic information with a single sniff, as well as, get this, sniff the soul out of someone. With these being a very few number of skills that Toriko has acquired, there is very little that Toriko couldn't discover about Naruto, leaving Naruto at a drastic disadvantage in almost every area, meaning that Toriko would simply eat Naruto for breakfast before going to fight a space Taipan. Number 2. Natsu will lose to Naruto. While Natsu has an extraordinary amount of power, Naruto simply exceeds his abilities. Both are limited by their pool of magic and pool of chakra, but Naruto's limit is simply much higher than Natsu. Naruto is capable of taking attacks that could split the moon in half and still keep fighting. Natsu has not even done anything close to that. Not even top tier characters like Acnologia and Ignia have shown feats on this level. Of course, now it is true that Natsu could theoretically beat any opponent no matter who they are, as long as he has enough fire in his belly, and Naruto definitely has attacks that Natsu could eat. But after the first attack that Natsu eats, Naruto is unlikely to give him any more. Even if Natsu uses lightning magic, Naruto is more than fast enough to dodge it, as he has dodged Raikage's lightning punch and even close-range laser fire from Madara. This level of speed renders even Natsu's fastest attacks easily avoidable. Combine that with a vast difference in power, training, arsenal, and Natsu ends up getting burnt. Number 3. Yusuke would beat Naruto. Being the final boss of Bleach, and vastly stronger than all the Stern Ridders, Yusuke has unprecedented levels of power. Being much stronger than the Stern Ritter Grimmy, who managed to summon a gigantic state-sized meteor by the power of his imagination, and Yusuke having the power himself to raise this city into the sky at speeds likely hundreds of times faster than sound, it would make this matchup difficult for Naruto. However, besides Yusuke's extraordinary power, what really seals the deal is his main, but not only, ability, the Almighty. This power not only lets him see every possible future like grains of sand on a beach, but also allows him to manipulate them all and choose the future he wants. Yusuke's power is so broken that he can manipulate futures that he even dies in, even if he dies before he decided to manipulate it. This means that even if Naruto managed to land a killing blow on Yusuke, he could simply revive himself by manipulating the future. Also, the fact that he's been alive for over 1,200 years means that he is nearly 36 times the experience that Naruto does, assuming that we're using the most seasoned version of Naruto. That is not to say that there is not a method that could be used to take down Yusuke, as he seems to be weak to illusion-based attacks like Aizen's hypnosis. This means that an argument could be made that Naruto could catch him in the genjutsu, but even then, Yusuke can manipulate the future, leaving Naruto toasted. Number 4. Blackstar would lose. Blackstar is one of the strongest characters in the world of Soul Eater and a personal favorite of mine. He has dodged lasers, manipulated shadows, made clones, and then vomited out a nuke. However, Naruto simply outclasses him in the one way that matters for this matchup. Given the fact that they are both nearly equal in speed, skill, and have nearly identical arsenals, they would likely end up trading attacks back and forth until one managed to wear out the other and land a killing blow. Because of Naruto's healing factor, he could recover from everything Blackstar could throw at him, while Blackstar can't recover, or at least can't recover that quickly, from the attacks that Naruto lands. This means that it would only be a matter of time until Blackstar's body failed, leaving him helpless against Naruto's most powerful and more devastating attacks. Or, Naruto could simply overwhelm him with 1,000 clones, a number of clones that Blackstar couldn't even dream of making. In the end, it looked like Naruto would be the biggest star in this fight. I really need to stop making these puns. Number 5. Yusuke Urameshi would beat Naruto. While this particular matchup would normally require far more research, as it's actually very close, thanks to Death Battle, we already know how Naruto and Yusuke's respective rivals would fare against each other. In the end, it turned out that Hiei, through scaling to Yusuke, simply overpowered Sasuke, taking the victory. However, that was a fight of tricks and illusions, telekinesis and teleportation. A battle between Yusuke and Naruto, on the other hand, would be much more straightforward and almost completely devoid of any complex abilities. It would be a fight relying on speed, power, and guts, things that both characters have in spades. Yet, due to Sasuke losing his fight, majorly based on Hiei's physical superiority, a similar outcome should hold true for Yusuke as well. Of course, there are a few major differences in the combatants, like Naruto's Shadow Clones and Yusuke's Spirit Gun. This would likely make it the closest fight on this list, but because the fight would be so similar to Sasuke and Hiei's fight, the outcome is unlikely to change that much. Looks like Yusuke, Yu Yu Hakusho'd up for this fight. Okay, that's the last one. Number 6. Shinra Kusakabe will lose. While Shinra has quite the unique speed advantage over Naruto, being able to approach the speed of light, effectively freezing time, and even having used the same ability to move in frozen time, it's still not enough to topple the skills and chakra abilities of Naruto. Being trained as a ninja since early childhood, Naruto's martial skills easily surpassed Shinra's training, as his training at the Fire Academy was not intended to make him a martial artist who fought humans, but was to make him a fire soldier who fought infernals. It would be an interesting fight, and Shinra is likely to be able to land some serious attacks on Naruto, but Shinra, as of now, doesn't really stack up against characters like Naruto has fought before in the past, like Sasuke. Also, given Naruto's mastery of jutsus, if he does end up getting caught in a light speed barrage, Naruto could probably just use a substitution jutsu to get out of there. Even with Shinra's incredible, nearly unlimited firepower, Naruto's chakra would be more than capable of countering it, like it did with Sasuke's Amaterasu. Okay, I know I said that the last pun would be the last one, but I can't help it. Looks like Naruto would have to fire force his way to victory. Number 7. Linji would beat Naruto. Hailing from the relatively unknown series, Hero, I Quit a Long Time Ago, or Hero's Return if you go by the anime title, Linji is easily one of the most powerful characters on this list, even surpassing the supernova level strength of Toriko. Linji, also known as Zero, the first and greatest of Earth's heroes, stands at the top of his world through his mastery of magic, swordsmanship, and a wealth of experience through his 5 years of fighting monsters, demons, gods, aliens, and even psychic Saitama. Through all his battles and quests, he has acquired dozens of legendary weapons, all with their own unique abilities. But the sword that he uses most when he gets serious is the Sword of Judgment. Using this sword, he can launch a multitude of attacks that deal catastrophic damage. His casual sword swing is capable of cutting through the very fabric of space. His third form, Slay, is an attack that extinguishes life itself all the way down to the person's soul, yet my personal favorite is his first form, Punishment. This is a beam that is fast enough to reach the planet Mars in only a few seconds, but not only did it reach Mars, but it destroyed it completely, and that is not even near his most powerful weapon. Many of Linji's weapons can manifest physically, becoming almost human-like but retaining their will as a weapon. This means that many of his weapons, most of which become absolute bombshells when they're in their human form, retain their skills and their desire to fight strong opponents. In fact, his Celestial Slayer blade can casually cut through dimensions, allowing her to travel to alternate future timelines. Because these mini weapons are a part of his arsenal, Linji could simply dispatch them to fight Naruto's clones if it came down to that, and with a casual swing able to cut through dimensions, they would decimate the clones. But even then, Linji does not need these weapons, as he's gone toe-to-toe with his swords multiple times and managed to keep his head. To put it simply, when you can fight on par with a living sword, there are very few people who can match your skill. I mean, no one knows how to fight better with a sword than a sword. However, if it really came down to it, he could retrieve his most powerful weapon. A sword that reached a level of power so great that it ceased to be conscious and instead became an embodiment of a concept. This sword's name is Ender, and the concept that Ender embodies is ending. With a single strike, this sword erases the very existence of what it hits. It is so powerful that even a Celestial Blade, Linji's other swords, gave up fighting once he pulled it out. Naruto is powerful, but Linji is quite literally dimensions above him. I cannot think of a good pun to put here. Moving on. Number 8. Aang would lose. While not the most stompish battle of this list, that goes to Linji or the next contender, this matchup is still pretty popular. Naruto vs. Aang. Aang's control over the elements would give him a significant advantage against Naruto's chakra, as benders can't really run out of bending power while Naruto can run out of chakra. Also, while being the avatar, he has all the experience and bending powers of all the previous avatars to pull from. However, that's about it. Naruto has a clear power advantage given how many of his feats are of a far higher magnitude than anything of Aang's. Naruto is also vastly faster given his point-blank light dodging against Aang's lightning reaction speed. Naruto's arsenal is also much deadlier, as the wind-style Rasen Shuriken can sever cells, and his ability to extend physical attacks outside his body would allow him to hit Aang without Aang really knowing what's going on. Now, it's very likely this fight is more complex than I'm making it out to be, as Aang can take bending of powers away from people, and there is a debate to be had about whether or not he can affect chakra, which is a possibility. But even if Aang could steal Naruto's chakra, Naruto is capable of having his chakra extracted from him, then survive being in the middle of this explosion. This explosion was powerful enough to blow a hole in the moon. Aang is strong, but not blowing holes in the moon levels of power. Number 9. Goku would win. Like Aang vs Naruto, this is a decent stomp, just on the other side of the spectrum. With Death Battle having shown us what characters like Broly could do, it's hard to make a coherent case that Naruto would stand a chance against the universe-shattering power of Goku. Even if he was unable to beat Broly by himself, 1% of universe-busting power is still 1% of universe-busting power. Honestly, it would probably be difficult for any character to stand up to this level of power, no matter what franchise they're from. So with Goku having nearly every advantage from superior hand-to-hand skill, absurdly high speed, vastly more powerful energy attacks, and his nearly untouchable Ultra Instinct, Goku would easily beat Naruto. Looks like Goku was more like Goat-ku. Ha, you thought I was out of puns. Number 10. Arlong would lose. Now, as you might be aware, CBR, clickbait resource, published an article similar in format to this video. This article says, get this, Arlong would beat Sasuke. So this last section, number 10, is really more me laughing at CBR. There's no way Arlong could beat Sasuke or Naruto. His combat style might work on some of the lower tier characters, but wouldn't even make Naruto think twice. That said, join me in paying homage to and laughing at CBR for this wonderful, wonderful meme. With that, we have finished our list. Now, if you will, do me a favor. If you thought this list was better and used better logic than the vast majority of similar articles from CBR, then hit the like button. If you want more of these type of videos, let me know by subscribing. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll do one for Luffy or Zoro. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Remember to stay spectacular. JoJo